let's turn to what has been a week which has been dominated over the worst form of beef politics. But today there is some signs of normalcy returning both to Dadri and a sense among our politicians who, for example, in those shameful scenes in the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly yesterday, almost attacked an independent MLA, Engineer Rashid, for holding a beef party. Today, the same Jammu and Kashmir Assembly unanimously adopted a resolution proposed by National Conference leader Omar Abdullah, where he called for peace and tolerance to prevail. Remember, it comes against the backdrop of the manner in which that attack took place inside the assembly. All parties today in Jammu and Kashmir endorsed the resolution calling for a halt to the terrible politics over the beef ban. So is it time to end beef politics and push for peace? Joining me now is Omar Abdullah, the former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister, who pushed that resolution today calling for peace in the J&K Assembly. Mr. Abdullah, the big question, of course, do you believe after what happened, the shameful incident yesterday in the J&K Assembly, the manner in which Engineer Rashid, the independent legislator, was thrashed, that the legislators of Jammu and Kashmir have realized the enormity of what they were doing in the assembly, that they were reducing the assembly to some kind of a wrestling akhada?
Well, I think they realize it. I'm not sure to what extent they are resolved not to repeat scenes like this. Unfortunately, the perpetrators of the assault on Engineer Rashid came out and quite proudly claimed that they would do it again under similar circumstances. You have the Deputy Chief Minister who has stepped back from the apology that he made in the House. I mean, I was there when he said sorry and now says that he hadn't apologized. And the Speaker has heaped insult on injury by placing under suspension staff members of the MLA hostel where Engineer Rashid's party took place, whereas the MLAs who assaulted Engineer Rashid have had no action taken against them. So while I've tried in my own little way to send out a positive message from the Assembly, I dare say that everybody else is quite determined to make sure that things get worse before they get better.
Does this reflect the reality on the ground that Jammu and Kashmir particularly has got completely polarized on this beef ban issue? So in a sense, what we have seen in the assembly in the last 24 hours reflects the reality on the ground, and therefore your peace resolution is only whistling in the dark.
Well, I think what it reflects is the deterioration in the situation in Jammu and Kashmir over the last 7 months. You'll recall that when Mufti Muhammad Sayyid tied up with the BJP, he said he was doing this to bring Jammu and Kashmir closer together. I dare say Jammu and Kashmir have never been further apart. And the divisions are only getting worse, they're not getting better. The internet was shut down in Jammu for a few hours yesterday. There was tension in Udhampur today. There have been incidents in Rajouri over the last week or 10 days. As I've been saying time and again, decisions regarding posting of officers between Jammu and Kashmir are taken more on the lines of religion than on the lines of competence. And it really is a very sad state of affairs, and that manifested itself in the scenes that you saw in the assembly yesterday.
Which is why I'm saying that this resolution, does it have any real, will it carry any weight? Will it carry any weight among the people of the valley? Will it carry any weight among the people of Jammu? Will peace be given a chance? Because dare I say, all politicians, and I will include you possibly also in that, are all possibly going to look at the benefits that you're getting from the situation on the ground.
There are no benefits to be had if the state goes up in flames. What are the benefits from a state that is in flames?
Vote bank
least
politics.
Of all, parties like mine.
Has beef ban become a crude example of the kind of vote bank, dangerous vote bank politics in the context of Jammu and Kashmir?
I think that's a question you'll have to pose to parties that actually have a particular vote bank. Parties like mine, or to that extent even the Congress, we have representative character in all three parts of the state, in Jammu, in Kashmir and in Ladakh. Situations like this beef issue are not to our political liking, for sure. And as I said earlier, I mean, when the state goes up in flames, it doesn't matter if your vote bank is in Jammu or Kashmir, you are going to suffer for that. And that's, I mean, that's the cynical truth. But what I tried to do in the assembly today was not about politics. I'm genuinely worried about the shrinking of space for moderate voices, not only in Jammu and Kashmir, but in the country as a whole. I mean, you have a man who's lynched to death, and it takes 9 days for a very muted sort of set of words from the Prime Minister. Even then, there is no condemnation of what happened. So, I mean, whether it's in Jammu and Kashmir or whether it's in other parts of the country, the space for moderate thinking, the space for moderate voices, the space for moderate opinion is shrinking, and we're being pushed to the sidelines. And it's the extremist elements that is occupying center stage.
Therefore, in conclusion, has the time come, dare I say, for some kind of a round table for all right-thinking voices in this country, particularly among the political class and those in public life, to sit together and work out some kind of a compact? Is the solution holding beef parties? Is the solution certainly not the kind of terrible scenes that we've seen in the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly yesterday? Is the time now for right-thinking minds to have a round table possibly, to find how do we live together, diversity, tolerance, peace?
Well, the solution is in accepting that India is a secular country, and we have different beliefs, we have different viewpoints, and we have to give adequate space and respect to each other's points of view. My religion permits me things that other religions don't, and vice versa. And therefore, I'm not one to impose my religious beliefs on other people. I don't expect other people's religious beliefs to be imposed on me. Is the solution in people sitting around a table and trying to work something out? Possibly. But therein, somebody has to take the lead. The National Conference is too small a party, Jammu and Kashmir is too small a state, but we will definitely play our part in that, as we have done so far and as we will continue to do. But I hope that somebody of the stature of the Prime Minister recognizes that the direction this country is going in is not in the interest of India. For all his make in India and all the rest of it, if the scenes like you saw in Dadri are repeated, if the scenes like you saw in the Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir are repeated, nobody is going to want to come and make anything in India. So I think it's in the interest of the Prime Minister that some sort of round table, some sort of initiative is taken to cool tempers down and to make sure there is adequate space, A, for moderate voice, and also to make sure that a secular country like India is secular in not only words but in deeds. And that means that there's space for me to practice my religious beliefs and for everybody else to practice theirs as well.
Okay. I think those are fine, firm words from you, Omar Abdullah. I appreciate your joining us, and I also appreciate the kind of resolution that you have moved today in the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly. I hope it has results on the ground. Thank you very much for joining me here on the news today.
Thanks, Rajdeep.